This is Geometry, Semester 2. It's a 08 unit. It's Angles Review. And it's Lesson 1, Straight, Vertical, must be Complementary, and Supplementary Practice, right? Sorry for the abbreviation there, but I run out of room in the title. That's why you end up with abbreviations. It's on creatormath.com. It's under the Geometry tab. Copy the following problems into your composition book on the correct pages according to the table of contents with the notes for those pages from creatormath.com. Just to give you an orientation on where that is, let's pull up creatormath.com. You might have to type in creatormath.weebly.com. Whoop, let's go to homepage. Here's creatormath.weebly.com. It should look like this when you get there. We're going to go into the Geometry tab. That's where all the notes are. We're going to pass by vocabulary and get to the table of contents. This is semester 2. Table of contents, it goes on pages 2 through 6 of your composition book. You're going to copy this whole table of contents in. You're going to pass by this. Let's get to this unit down here. So here we go, Angles Review. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 lessons within this. This first lesson is straight, vertical, complementary, supplementary, and it goes on page. Don't take this number. You're going to look at the actual table of contents, but here's the page numbers that it goes on, and here are the notes that go on those pages. It may take a second for this to load. Mine will sometimes load and then take a second more to load again. And it's things like straight, vertical, complementary, and supplementary angles. There's the standard associated with it, the essential question. They're going to talk about a straight angle. They're going to talk about obtuse, acute, a right angle. They're going to talk about vertical angles, how these two are across from each other. That's what vertical angle means. It doesn't mean up and down, although 1 and 3 are vertical angles. That's not why they're vertical angles. They're vertical angles because they're across from each other, and they are equal. Okay, so copy this into your comp book. Complementary angles sum to 90 degrees. There's an example, a plus b equals 90. Supplementary angles sum to 180. Here's an example, a plus b is 180. The total number of degrees in a circle is 360. Half of that's 180. Quarter circle is 90. A little bit of review. Vocab, sum means to add. A straight angle is a straight line or a 180 degree angle. Acute is less than 90. Obtuse is greater than 90. Right angle is 90 degrees. Vertical angles are across from each other and are equal. And I believe they gave you some problems in here to copy into your comp book. And let's proceed with this set of problems here. Mauricio, you're going up through page 60. Please check creatormath.weebly.com to see the schedule for turn-in of comp book. And I'll cover that. If you can't find it, I'll go help you find it in a second, all right? So the instructions are copy the following problems into your composition book, right there. And so we covered the notes. We're going to look at the first problem here. How many degrees are in a straight angle? Oh, man. Okay. They're just trying to drive that into my head, I think, because it tells me 180 degrees. And that's the most interesting thing when students think about an angle. Here's an angle here, but if you keep taking this and open it all the way up so that it's now a straight line, this has got to have 180 degrees. And if you took a circle and cut it in half, and this is a straight line right here, this is 180 degrees. So we have this thing called a straight angle, and it's 180 degrees. A line has 180 degrees because it is half a circle, which we define as having 360 degrees. Straight angle. A little bit unusual name. A lot of things are unusual in geometry sometimes. Let's see, if a straight angle is split into two angles, A and B, the sum of the angles must be 180 degrees. So now we take a straight line that's 180, break it into two. So here, this is A, and this one over here is B, 2. A plus B must sum to 180 because the whole thing is 180. So they're asking, what does a straight angle need to sum to if it's broken into parts? Always 180. A better name for vertical angles is angles across from each other. If angle A is 53 degrees, so we're going to put 53 in for angle A, 53 in for angle A, 53 in for angle A. What does C equal? Question mark, question mark, question mark. The angles across from each other are equal. So see how these are across from each other? I know they're not vertical. That's the problem with this name, vertical angles. They don't have to be vertical. Although these are vertical from each other, they're also vertical because they're across from each other. It's the hardest definition ever. I wish we would change it to angles across from each other, right? Draw an X and the angles across from each other. C has to be 53 degrees. They all are equal to what they are across from the item. 53 degrees. If there are 180 degrees in a straight angle, how many degrees are in a straight line? Trick question. Straight angle and a straight line are the same thing. This is a straight line and this is a straight angle, 180 degrees. So they're just trying to sort of get into our heads with this concept. And honestly, as a geometry teacher, sometimes it's the easiest things that are the hardest for students. It just, some things don't make sense, and this is kind of one of them. This is a little bit better. If angles A, B, and C are complementary, complementary or complementary? That should be an E, you guys. Complementary is the way it's spelled in geometry. So A, B, and C have to sum to, since this whole thing is 90, A plus B plus C have to equal 90 degrees. That's what complementary is, and it's 90 degrees. So now they're going to actually give us A, they're saying is 15 degrees. So let's say this is 15 degrees. B, 25 degrees. What's the measure of C? Well, A plus B plus C has to equal 90 because they're complementary angles, right? A is 15 degrees, B is 25, plus C equals 90, all right? These two add up to 40 degrees, plus C equals 90. Subtract 40 from both sides. C equals 90 minus 40 is 50 degrees. And if you put in 50 here, 50, 60, 75, 80, 90. Because the total is 90. That's the whole point of this right here. Oh, man. I think it's my spell check that corrects that for me. Because, you know, to compliment someone and say, hey, I don't know, you did your hair nice today, right? That's complimentary. This is complementary. That's to compliment someone. In geometry, it's complement. Different words, all right? So just so you know. And supplementary doesn't have that problem because it only spells one way. So if angles A, B, and C are supplementary, now we're switching to supplementary. Supplementary means they sum to 180 degrees. Notice, this is a straight line or a straight angle. So A plus B plus C must equal 180. And we love equations. A plus B plus C equals 180. We're very excited about that relationship. Because now, if you tell me what these values are, I can start to leave one missing and I can solve for it. And as geometry teachers, we love it. Let's see. If angles A, B, and C and D are supplementary. So now there's 1, 2, 3, 4 in here. They always sum to 180. That is the definition of supplementary. A plus B plus C plus D equals 180. And you guys, how many angles could you fit in here? An infinite number. You could just keep making these smaller and smaller. The point is, supplementary means they sum. Sum means to add to 180 degrees. All right, given the following two angles which are supplementary. Why? Because they're on a straight line. That means together they must add to 180 degrees. So do the following setup. What's x? If they both must add to equal 180 or sum, we have 2x plus 3x plus 20. Just add them. Don't get too bent out of shape. Just add them. Combine like terms. 2x and 3x is 5x. Plus 20 equals 180. Minus 20 on both sides. To use your equation solving methods, we got 5x on the left. 180 minus 20 is 160. And divide both sides by 5. X equals 160 divided by 5. But notice, they don't even ask us to do this. Let's see, they just set it up. We didn't even have to solve, right? But just remember, go out, just take your 160 divided by 5 and put in your 32 here. That would be the value of x. Then remember, in a problem like this, they may say, what's the measure of this angle? This angle's 2x. So you might have to take 2 times 32. This would be 64 degrees here. then if x is 32, you'd have to plug that in here, right? 3 times 32 would be 96, plus 20 would be 116, and 116 would be 170, 180 degrees. Good. So this would be 116 degrees. You're using x as the value here to plug in to get 116. 116 plus 64 has to add up to the original 180 if I did everything right. Given the following two vertical angles, which what do we know about vertical angles? They are equal as long as they're across from each other. Which of the following is correct to solve? We're going to say equal. 3x equals x plus 80 because those two angles are equal. And that's all they're asking us to do is set it up. All right. That wasn't too bad. Let's see. That just make sure you're matching up the right geometry. Semester 2, make sure in the unit angles review and the lesson straight, vertical, complementary, and supplementary right here. And you're on creatormath.com. You might have to put in creatormath.weebly.com under the geometry tab. Hope that helps.